Hello and welcome to the Intentional Brief, your weekly video update on the one big thing in cybersecurity news for middle market companies, their investors, and management teams. I'm your host, Shay Colson, managing partner at Intentional Cybersecurity, and you can find us online at intentionalcyber.com. Today is Monday, February 16th, 2026, and it's President's Day here in the US, as well as the provincial holiday Family Day up in British Columbia. We've got a few things to update you on this week, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Bit of a news roundup format this week as we continue to stay focused on what matters to teams that are building and defending middle market businesses. The first is a check-in from a story we covered last week. Payment provider BridgePay Network Solutions. As regular watchers of this show will be able to guess, they got hit by ransomware. The attack date was February 6th, and within a couple of hours, they were hard down and not able to serve any customers. Checking in now this morning on Monday, 2/16, 10 days later, they are still hard down, and their latest update was posted 4 days ago and notes only that, quote, "We continue to make positive progress in our recovery efforts. Additional details will be provided as they become available. Thank you for your continued patience," end quote. Small comfort to their customers who can't process payments, and not many details provided here, even though they are promising them. I'm sure the reality of what those teams are living on a daily basis is tough. On the BridgePay side, of course, I get that, but all of this is preventable. That doesn't make where they're at a harder position or an easier position, to bear, but it doesn't give me a lot of empathy for the reasons that they're there. Shifting to another team, we saw another news article this week about how quickly vulnerabilities are weaponized by attackers. In this case, threat actors began attacking remote support and privileged access management tool Beyond Trust within 24 hours of a new vulnerability being released as a proof of concept, or POC. Several other threat research outfits have also confirmed in the wild exploitation, including our friends at Watchtower and over at Diffused. Again, a reminder for us on the blue team side that we need to be able to patch faster than the attackers can weaponize, and that is a shrinking timeline with AI and other things compressing that for their side. There's also this uncomfortable elephant in the room of vendors being able to get a patch out as quickly as we need them to, which is often not the case. So in those instances, we need to be able to deploy other compensating controls or countermeasures, which is almost always easier said than done. Especially for these types of tools like admin and remote. And if we've got workflows, automations, and other things built out for them, taking those down or putting those behind a firewall or moving them to the DMZ or whatever else can be difficult. I get it. But it is the reality of what we are living with today. I think our final reminder for this news roundup is a somewhat silly, at least on its face, insider threat use case. And this example stems from spyware provider Paragon, whose general counsel posted a selfie on LinkedIn. Not usually a problem, except for the fact that this selfie was taken with a big dashboard of the company's secretive product behind the people in the photo, and it gave out previously undisclosed details about how the product works, what it can capture, and how it extracts data from phone numbers and social media applications. We saw something similar in a picture released during the U.S. raid on Venezuela earlier this year, where pictures posted on Twitter show the president, Secretary of State, and Secretary of Defense in front of a big screen. This one apparently just the search page of Twitter with the word Venezuela typed in. But it is a good time to remind your people about how these seemingly small and innocuous actions can have real consequences, and that maybe everything doesn't have to go out on socials. From a fundraising perspective, a solid week this week with more than $14.2 billion in newly committed capital, including Blue Owl raising over $3 billion for their inaugural strategic equity and secondary strategy. Montana Capital Partners putting up $1.4 billion for a sixth secondaries fund focused on mid-market opportunities in North America and Western Europe. Vision Ridge posting $2.4 billion for their fourth sustainable assets strategy fund, and Oak Tree Capital also putting up $2.4 billion in the first close of its fourth special situations fund, which is aiming for a $5 billion raise when it's all said and done. There's also an interesting post in the Wall Street Journal article in the Wall Street Journal noting that Ivy League universities may be looking to draw down their private equity investments from their endowments. The article notes that while a significant amount of their endowment funds will remain in private equity, it is many elite universities' biggest holding, including 40% of the assets at Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, whose combined endowments make up more than $133 billion, but that the returns and lack of liquidity compared to public markets are raising both eyebrows and questions on campus. So we will watch this. Does tend to align with this notion of lots of funds are raising their last fund. They just don't know it, but time will tell. As a reminder, you can find all of the articles we talked about in the comments section below, back issues and written transcripts of these videos at intentionalcyber.com, and we will see you next week for another edition of the Intentional Brief.